Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the bonus footage from my time with both the RPG and the 1911. And in this commentary, I wanted to talk a little bit about my process, the steps that I go through when I make a video. There's a number of things, and it's quite a long and involved process, of course. But, well, it all starts with the gameplay. Of course, because, the gameplay is kind of the crux of everything I do. Now, generally speaking, I'll record about 3 games per attachment. I mean, that changes sometimes. I mean, in the cases of the weapons like the RPGs and the shotguns where there aren't that many attachments, I'll record a few more games. But for stuff like the SMGs and the assault rifles, stuff like that, 3 games per attachment, that's about normal. So that gives me a body of somewhere between about 20 and 30 games. Maybe slightly fewer. I mean, with the RPG, I think I recorded maybe about 10 games. Really not that many. So, yeah, obviously that's done with the HD PVR, and I'll record everything I need in usually one session, occasionally a couple of sessions. And from there, what I'll do is I'll import it to Vegas. Load up, like I say, all the gameplay files. I record in blocks of 3, about half an hour long each. And well, what I do then is I watch all the gameplay back, and I'll split it into clips. Essentially, the bits where I'm doing well. I'll select the highlights, as it's a fairly simple process, quite time-consuming, but it's simple enough. And so in Vegas, what I'll do is, in the project file, I'll have a whole bunch of clips. Essentially what I do is on the timeline, I'll select it, press S to split. And yeah, just sort them out towards the end of the project file from 10 minutes out, generally, is where I store my clips. Obviously, the main body of the video is the first 10 minutes or so. And then I can drag and drop them wherever I need when it comes to editing. Other than that, of course, the graphic side of things, I do a lot of stuff in Adobe Illustrator. For instance, with the vector graphics. There's a number of stuff. There's the weapon silhouette, the idle silhouette, the sight silhouette as well, and the magazine and cartridge. All of these things I need to trace in Illustrator, and I produce them, as vector assets. So that's what I do in Illustrator, basically, and then I'll import those into Photoshop, and I've got all my slide templates. And all the green glow, all that set up as, I did it with the MP5K video for the first time, and obviously I saved my work, and I just retool everything, adapt it for each of the new weapons. So each of the slides I do, they're fairly simple, they're pretty easy to do. And stuff like the fake documents as well, that's all done in Photoshop. Normally I'll, find, aged-looking bits of paper and superposed text and other diagrams that I find. Most of my images come from Wikimedia Commons is a great source for free or freer licensed images. That's probably the best place to find, some of the photos I use. And a lot of the documents and stuff I find are actually public domain. A lot of US Army stuff is all public domain, which is really useful. For instance, with the RPG, I think there was a US Army document in there. It was basically, it was kind of a training document from 1976, where basically just describing Russian squad tactics with the RPG and how best to counter it. Quite an interesting document, actually. But yeah, I'll take a couple of pages from that, and make it look old and stick it in. Very simple, really. Now, the hardest part is probably script writing. This takes me the lion's share of the time. Because writing's it's one of those things that you can't do unless you your mind's in the right place. I mean, if you're tired, the scripts are formulaic to a part, and I can kind of do the script if I'm a little tired, but getting good writing is really the key to these videos. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's the fancy graphics, oh, it's the voice. But I think, honestly, the writing is the most important part for any video. The voice, the graphics will only get you so far. If you don't have tightly scripted and sort of well thought out structure to a video, then it's just not going to work as well. So the script's something that, a lot of effort goes into. And, right, like I say, it's a formulaic thing, and everything's in sections. Pretty much intro, history, game stats, attachments, perks, tactics, closing, witty pun. That's it, basically. So I'll fill in those sections and read it, reread it several times, just to make sure everything reads properly. Because, I mean, you can write something, but if you try and speak it aloud, if it doesn't flow properly, if it doesn't sort of, lend itself to the voiceover, then I've got to revise it. Anyway, once I've got the script nailed, dialed in, I'll print it out and, well, I record the voiceover, which is a simple enough affair. I read it in chunks. I split it into about 30 to 60 chunks. And using my Rode Podcaster, which is an awesome microphone, really great USB mic, and you plug it in and it works. It's beautiful. I'll record in Sony SoundForge. Just record straight through, one take. If I fluff a paragraph, I'll repeat it. If, I mess up, I'll keep on doing the chunk. Actually, for the record, the RPG pronunciation, nailed that first time. And then I'll do a little bit of processing. There's a thing called the wave hammer in SoundForge, which is basically a combination volume maximizer or normalizer and compressor. I apply a touch of light compression, and obviously I make the voice as loud as it can be within the constraints. Other than that, I do a noise gate, and then that's it. Just straight audio from the podcaster. Really simple. And then I'll save out each of the paragraph chunks as a separate file, which is a little time consuming, but it's not too bad. And then I import all those chunks and all the graphics, and obviously all the gameplay is already there because I split it in Vegas. And what I tend to do first is I'll lay out the voiceover, get the pacing of the video, and this will determine the length of the video as well. So I'll, like I say, I'll just space everything out. And then, stuff, obviously the script is tightly structured, and the graphics lend, they tack onto that structure as well. When I'm talking about damage, obviously there's the damage slide, attachments and stuff like that. It all sort of flows in a very formulaic fashion. So I do the voiceover first, and then I'll adjust the graphics and the transitions. So, the transitions all match. Make sure the Foley sound effects are all in place. It's all very simple. The editing is probably a couple of hours. It's really not that much work once everything's in place. It's the script writing and getting the gameplay and splitting the clips. They are kind of the lion's share of time. And, well, other than that, I'll add clips. Gameplay's simple enough. Just drag and drop. Try and get, the most appropriate clips where possible. Yeah. I mean, I tend to, like I say, record by attachment. So I'll do the attachment parts first, the bit where I'm talking about the red dot side. Drag in some red dot side clips, simple as that. And then over the other stuff, I'll see, what clips I've got remaining. I normally lead with my best clips, like with the RPG video I had, the quintuple kill at the start. I like to lead, with a strong but short clip to begin with. Final kill cams towards the end. Other than that, just stick in what fits where. And then render. For the gameplay, what I use is a little color correction and a touch of light sharpening. Nothing too drastic. Rendering, 6 megabits MP4. Not too bad. I've got a reasonably fast processor. It takes about 15 minutes to render a 10-minute video. Upload. Sit back. Relax. Another video done. So that's an insight into my process. That's basically what I go through. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Xbox Ahoy, and I'll see you on Sunday for the AK-74U guide. Until then, farewell.